Hi, my name is Jane Savile, and I'm wanting to welcome you to the practice of the yamas. So I began this journey with ahimsa, and today we're going to focus on Brahmacarya. So if you're joining me for Brahmacarya and this is the first part of your journey, I welcome you, and I encourage you to listen to the ahimsa video and continue on. There's 5 yamas within the practice, and we will be touching on each of them. So for me, the yamas are a practice. They're literally a physical practice that we come to as a way of living yoga. And yoga for me has such a rich history to it that in the West we've taken one very small aspect of what yoga has been for over 5,000 years, and we've made it about a pose. And so discovering the yamas and the niyamas for me really awakened something deep within myself that wanted something more from my practice. I wanted to live it. I wanted to bring a richness to what not only did I practice, but also what I teach. So Brahmacarya for me is second chakra. It's also water element, so here I am on beautiful Lake Superior. And we all may know that Brahmacarya for people in India, the practice of being a Brahmacarian is really about practicing celibacy. And definitely within a lot of cultures that seek this sense of connection to the divine or that source within themselves, do believe that this is one form of a practice, is to be celibate, to redirect the energy inward. And definitely I experienced what it was to be honored as a woman traveling through India when I met some Indian men on a train, and I told them I was a Brahmacarian. Well, if you've traveled India as a single woman, you will recognize how difficult that is because it's not something common to see a single woman walking the streets of India. And I was in India in 1989, 1990. And it was very challenging for me, and so I constantly had a lot of men around me and men trying to grope me. And so discovering this, this was from a fellow traveler who told me to tell men that I was a Brahmacarian. That meant that I was this devout, practitioner of celibacy, so that I could experience the divine or God within me. And they really did. It was a total flip of how they saw me. And all of a sudden they were honoring me and bowing to me and respecting me. And so, it's that sense of celibacy is a practice. It definitely is a path. And I'm not here to teach you to practice celibacy. I'm here to awaken the second chakra, to awaken the water element to really a sacredness, which doesn't always exist within our Western world. Unfortunately, if we look at sexuality within the West, it's basically degraded women, and women have degraded themselves. And so what I'd like to focus on with Brahmacarya is really this reawakening of our second chakra, this place of both sexuality and how we express ourselves as both men and women in this world, but also creativity is at this center. It is a creative, expressive energy here, and it is sacred. and it needs to be honored, and it needs to be expressed in a way that honors yourself. And so I think if we can really bring a greater sense of awareness to how we are doing that, how are we as women and men expressing our sexuality in this world? I mean, that is an individual practice for each of us. I'm not here to tell you how to do that, but for you to discover that within yourself. How can we express ourselves both sexually and creatively in a way that we honor ourselves? We see that expression as something that is very sacred and something in which we are honored for. And so what does that look like for each of us? And I guess really, that's the practice to come back to. Each time that we go out into the world, each time that we express something from within ourselves, is it sacred? Is it moving from the heart? Is it an old pattern that is being repeated? Possibly one of fear, one of seeing yourself in a negative way, and believing that you don't deserve to be treated well. But that sense, if we go back to ahimsa, that sense of nourishing self-love is where we begin. And once you start cultivating a practice of self-love, that is what gets reflected back to you. That is the mirror that you will then begin to see in this world. If that is not what is being mirrored back to you, then return to that practice of self-love, because we cannot receive what we don't believe about ourselves. If this, practice doesn't begin with us, we won't see it around us. We won't experience it. We need first to create it, and then we need to receive it. But the practice is ours. It's not about anyone else. It's not about other people being responsible for how we allow others to treat us or how we see and treat ourselves. And so I think this is a very important yama for women and men in this world, to really see our bodies as something sacred, something beautiful. Just as we're surrounded by beauty in the world, once you begin to see the beauty in the world, you've already started to see the beauty within yourself. You've already started to honor who you are and this body that you are in. And so let that be your practice. Let yourself see how beautiful you are. And from there, honor the body that you are gifted with. Honor the divine that moves through your body that is beautiful.